Hi, it's Avalon here, and welcome to this conversation with Anna Feldman. We are talking about soul stories. Anna is a soul story shaper, and I have had the pleasure and privilege of enjoying sessions with Anna to connect with my essence and really bring my stories to life. So I would love to share Anna's magic with you today. And Anna, firstly, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Avalon. So good to be here with you. Thanks for the opportunity to share more about soul stories.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. So can you tell me, what is a soul story shaper?
Sure. So it might sound a little bit strange on first hearing it, I'm sure. A soul story shaper really is about supporting rising women and soulpreneurs to declutter and distill their life reflections, their life lessons, to really claim their mastery. And so what I found is working with people in that way creates the foundation for their book, their courses, their teaching resources, their messages, their aligned messages. So it truly is a gift to be able to access that wisdom in your lifetime, and I love doing it. And I guess the name really represents supporting the shape-shifting of our stories and our innate wisdom to bring out the very essence of what we're here to share. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's really rich. And I'm curious, can you share more about your journey, your life's journey, and what has brought you to this work, and why are you so passionate about stories?
Cool. Okay. Where to start? I guess for me, it feels like, even though this is quite new for me, it's actually something that I feel that I've been training for lifetimes. That really resonates with me. I love stories. I feel like we live inside stories, that we learn best when we're sharing stories. It's an art, and I think that I really feel that it's something quite sacred and quite spiritual. So having a container around stories feels really natural for me. But really when that really came alive for me is a little bit of a sad but amazing story. Last year, one of my dearest friends passed away. She was 36 years old. She passed away of cancer. She was a true goddess and somebody who I admired so much. But really, in her passing, in the weeks, there was only a number of weeks really when she was diagnosed and when she actually left her body. In those weeks, something really transformational happened for her in that she actually attained enlightenment. This is actually what happened for this beautiful soul Jo. And what that meant for me looking in was she was able to truly process the lessons that her soul had come into this body to learn. And that growth happened exponentially in the last few weeks of her life. Although she was a very soulful person, she was quite a famous kirtan artist, and she did a lot of spiritual work in the community. I feel her greatest work was in distilling the true lessons, in a sense, that she had come here to master, and doing that really high level, high consciousness work towards the end of her life. When she left her body, this idea of leaving a legacy became very, very alive and very important to me, as Jo has left an incredible legacy for all of us. And what I made that mean is that we don't need to go outside of ourselves to create a big legacy. Do anything in particular. It's more to do, what I feel, it's more to do with really owning, really claiming our stories. And it might be an epic, life-defining story of your life, or the many stories that shape and define us. It could just be, the story of, what goes down in your household every day. It could be the most mundane thing. But in everything there is, I believe, wisdom, there's richness, there's lessons, there's an inner compass that exists within our stories that really is our legacy, and something that feels important for me is to support other people to really draw that, bring that out of them so that they can then do whatever it is that's most alive for them to do. It might be to share that as a legacy for their children, to light the way for future generations. It might have something to do with aligning it with their messages, whether it's to do with their business or their parenting. It really is such a personal thing. But to have that opportunity to declutter and to feel your unique lessons, your unique wisdom, gifts, genius is something that I'm really passionate about, and doing that through the story.
Wow. So can you share with me what would be the difference, say, if I just sat down and wrote my story, just remembering things, compared to being guided in a soul story session? Can you share, like, what is that process, and how does that enrich the story that I'm here to tell or someone's here to tell? Can you share a bit more about that?
Yeah, great question. That's where the juice is. I won't give away too much about the process that I've discovered works really well, but what I will share is that, well, the old story really tells us about who all the characters are in the story and who did what to who, and we've got a lot of insight in our life, especially most of us women are quite highly developed. We can have perspective and share a story. And it's got a lot of the specifics, you know, a lot of, as I say, a lot of the people, the names, the situations. What the soul story does, it's a little bit more, it's not that it's higher level, it takes various perspectives. So there's our body self that experienced the story, that has feelings, that has emotions, that has a story to tell and words that need to be expressed. But there's so much more than just our body self. There's also our wise woman self that can hold perspective, that has that 30,000 foot view. There's that part of us that has resources and knowledge, that wants to share another viewpoint of our story. So there's another voice there that wants to be heard. And there's also another voice, which is our soul's voice, which is that part of us that has been here for many, many lifetimes, that has a really deep understanding of the various characters in a story, and that can actually be in another's shoes. And it might not be pleasant in some, in some ways. What might be coming through wouldn't be the same story as the body self, the child self, but it's a really important perspective that gives us even more depth to a story.
I see.
So there are layers to the unfolding of a soul story. And then there's also the divine self, which is the deepest part of ourselves. It's the truth of who we are. And that divine self can access the deepest truths of our story. And we don't always access that with the conscious mind. The way that I work with people is through meditation. Not the only way, but I feel like we can access the deeper truth through meditation, through diving into the essence of who we are. And from that, we get to witness ourselves in a different way, how we show up and how we have shown up to co-create the story. And also we get insights into, through the transformational process, and in a soul story there is a transformation in every soul story. That's what the distilled wisdom is. That's where the insights, that's where the juice is. That's what we really want to be sharing, not the guts and the gore, but the truth, the vulnerability, but in a way that it is so graceful and so much what we truly want to share. That's the gift of the soul story. And what we actually discover are those new ways of being, of showing up in alignment with those discoveries. And so we're taking it to the next level of how we can actually bring that goodness into aligning with who we're becoming. So there's a real, does that make sense? There's a real, so many layers. It's so rich. It's so difficult to express it in a couple of minutes, but it's a true process that can't be accessed just from our conscious mind.
Yes.
Which is the old story, which is the
Yeah.
one, it's the one we're telling people all about it, and we're
this happened and that happened. And
it's the one that we're overtelling, and we're literally over telling it. So
yes.
we want something that's much richer, that we get a sense is quite sacred and must be shared, and we almost get a sense that we do need to be guided to get to the richness of what's in the coding of that story, and we know that that's our mastery, and we just we want to access it, we want to nail it, we want to do the work, and it is about doing the highest level of work in this incarnation. So it's quite deep.
Yeah, for sure. Well, having tasted your work and having had some time with you to explore that in my own life, I've discovered that it's such a way to deepen into more connection and understanding of the story. Like, so there's the surface story and then the different layers, and accessing a potency that is much more connected with my core self, you know, especially if it's related to the work I'm doing. It's like this core message, freeing that and getting to the really juicy, important stuff, which then aligns, and people can feel more of you, can't they? When
that's right. It's not, and that's the beautiful thing. It's not about delving into the past and living in that place of all the things that have happened to you in your life, although there's a process where we can go there. It's really truly about how the distilled wisdom, those yummy life reflections, those deepest part of yourselves that are alive now in this moment, that's what will come through. And that's the stuff that you can then live your life by. These truths, they then go and inform your life. They then become your North Star, your compass to truly being all that you can be. And it might take the form of a blog or a chapter in a book that you're writing, or that you're dreaming about writing. It might take form of legacy letters that you're writing for your children, that you want to leave behind, that have the richest part of who you are today in them. So it really will bring out almost that next inspired action in your life. And I don't know how it happens, because the magic just happens in the process, but it does happen, and it's all you. The soul story is in you, and for most of us, it's erupting. It's wanting to come through.
Yeah, it's really rich, and what I've experienced is it deepens that connection with myself, because we're in a world where we're just bombarded with distractions, and there's all this, do that, and everything going on, but the soul story process really takes you more deeply in, so then you can walk more aligned, because you understand yourself more, you've learned the lessons more deeply, and that's part of the juice of it for me. It's like, wow, I'm actually understanding what I'm here for, and what's the potency of the message that I can share with people, because it really gets right to the core of it.
You know, I love you sharing and reflecting back to me, because it reminds me of how when you share, you're actually igniting through the story. This is all, yummy storytelling. Yeah. You're igniting something in me that I had forgotten to mention at the beginning of the interview. But that's what's great about storytelling and sharing in this way, is that we are bombarded with a lot of amazing, inspiring content, and we are thriving on it. It's true. But I feel that why I came into this work, for me, there was a deeper yearning to master my own life and my own messages. I felt like I had the teaching memoir inside of me. I know that we each have a teaching memoir, a manifesto of sorts inside of us. And how amazing to be able to distill it, to be able to name it, to be able to write it, to be able to express it in your own way, so that you're accessing your own wisdom, your own lived experience, your own lived transformation, and then living it and sharing that, being in service to others from that place, rather than leaning into other people's work, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's so empowering to know that you've got a body of work inside of yourself that's just waiting to be accessed and shared. And there's something about being fully expressed in that. There's something about living our highest flourishings, that we can actually do that when we've distilled it, when we've actually done that work, and then we take that yumminess and actually go out and share that in the way that's most in our heart to do.
That's just so beautiful. That's what draws me to this work, to the work that you do, because it's like I have this sense, you know, and a lot of people have this sense, well, there's something that I'm here for. There's a message I'm here to share. My life, you know, what's the meaning of life? And there's so many big questions, and we can be seeking the answers all over the place. But with the soul story, you kind of just come right in and go, okay, well, what's your path? And what are your lessons? And what's your message? So it's really getting clear about that, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a gift. It's a gift. It's a gift I've always wanted for myself to actually, in my lifetime, to take the time to really honor the journey that I've been on and that my soul has been on, and to be able to just do it for me. You know, even if it's just for me and for my family, yes, I've done this. I know now what my key soul lessons are, you know, for this body, and I'm able to articulate that because I've had a sense of it, and these ideas have been swimming in my head for a long time. I think a lot of us can relate to. There's so much richness, but it's all cluttered. It's all in there, and I really need someone to help me to just unpack it, to you know, compartmentalize in a way, and just understand it so deeply, because then truly we do understand ourselves, and we can embrace more of who we are. That's what it is to really claim our stories. It's claim the incredible wisdom again, but the light and the journey that we've been on, the richness of that, to claim that is it really is a profound experience that it's unimaginable where we can then go with that.
Wow. Well, speaking of that, of unpacking the story and being guided to that, can you share the ways that you work with people to guide them to, you know, discover and explore their own soul stories?
Great. Yeah, absolutely. So there are three main ways that I work with people. One is very exciting because it's to do with a retreat, and there is a retreat coming up in Bellingen that is 2 nights. It's from the 11th of November to the 13th of November. And it's a beautiful deep dive into exactly what we've just spoken about. And it includes my passion, which is yoga and meditation, to really go deeper into the soul story. So I've been teaching yoga for 14 years, and I've now found a way that I can blend the reflections from the mat. So a beautiful way, a tender way to be together and deep dive. I've got 3 places left for that, Avalon, from the 11th and 13th of November, 3 places left. So if anyone feels called to spend that time in nourishing nature, that's happening very soon. So that's one way. Another way which I really love and gives me an opportunity to work very closely with someone, is the 2-month Supreme Spiritual Legacy Journey. So that kind of gives you a taste of what we've just spoken about. It really gives us the time to create the legacy of wisdom, which really is something tangible. At the end of the journey, we actually create a hardcover book with your life reflections, with your teachings, with your most distilled wisdoms. And that will, again, that really evolves uniquely with each and every person. It's something that you can really come back to time and time again for the rest of your life and beyond. It's a real legacy piece and a precious gift. And that's something that I'm really passionate about, and that's a 2-month journey. And there's also something a little bit shorter. It's a 5-session journey, which is discovering the 5 key soul lessons of your life. So that you can take something really precious away from that is a nice sort of in between the retreat and the 2-month journey, but also very rich and also very deep. And you always get what you need from from the experience. So
yeah. And from having experienced your facilitation, I can say that it is super rich. You're so present, and the magical space that you hold really invites the depth to come to the surface, to be seen. And yeah, it's been really rich for me. So can you also share how people can get in touch with you?
Okay, so the best way is to get in a conversation, I believe, rather than read lots and lots of stuff. To get in a conversation with me, just email me, and my email address is pretty easy. It's Anna, ANNA, at lightminds.com. So that's lightminds.com. So Anna at lightminds.com. If you know me on Facebook, instant message is great, but if we're not friends, that might get lost in the messaging. So maybe stick with email, or if we are friends, it's Anna Feldman. That's my middle name, is my spiritual name, which is Binah, Binah, and my surname Feldman, which is Feldman.
Beautiful. Wow, thank you. It's so rich. I could immerse in this space with you. It's so meaningful, you know. It brings the purpose and wisdom into life. And thanks so much for sharing about your soul story work and letting people know, you know, how you can support them. So if you're watching this and you're feeling like, oh, I've got these, I don't know what it is, I know maybe have a few ideas, but Anna can guide you to really bring the juice out of what your soul story is. So I just wanted to say, like, get in touch with Anna if you're feeling inspired by this conversation.
Thank you. Avalon, can I just say how much I love sharing time with you? We've spent quite a bit of time together now, and every time is so precious to me and so juicy for me. I always learn and grow when I'm with you. You're
thank you.
Inspiration for me, and you're one of my mentors, and I love that we can both mentor each other in different ways. And I'm so grateful for this time that you've chosen to share this with me, and that I can actually express this work, because I can't do it alone.
Yes.
And I don't think we're meant to do it alone. I think having this kind of sisterhood and this level of empowerment is part of the story, actually.
Definitely.
That I want to share, and I know you want to share.
Yes.
I'm passionate about the work that you do, and I'm a real stand for you and all that you are. And I love you. Very, very
Thank you. Thank you. And that's a really good point that you mentioned, because we are all unique. We all have a unique purpose. So there's no, like, you know, fear or comparison about who's doing what. It's like, let's elevate each other. Let's say, what are you doing? I want to hear about that. I know that you've got some gold that can teach me something. And this is the beauty of sisterhood and community and sharing and just getting our messages out there, because we can support each other.
Yes, the old story was very, very different, Avalon, where it was a scary place to support others and even receive support. But we're in a new paradigm, and I love that I'm in this world with you, that we've chosen to incarnate at this time. There's a whole nother story. There's a whole nother podcast or message there. I love that this is the lived experience, and that you're modeling this for other women. And I'm just so pleased to be a part of this journey with you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening. If you're here to the end.
You. All right. Thanks so much. We'll see you.
Look forward to hearing from you.
Time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Avalon.
Bye.